Hello, friends, and welcome to After School Snack Time. We are so glad you're here. Hi, friends. How are you? We are so excited to see you today and to be back for After School Snack Time in the new year. I am Miss Parker. I am the Financial Education and Community Outreach Ambassador for the Credit Union. And here with me is Miss Roosalina, the Savings Kangaroo. She is the one who plans all of this fun stuff, and I get to hang out with her and have fun too. If you've joined us for snack time before, welcome back. And if this is your first time, thank you so much for joining us. We are glad you are here. Every week, we have a snack and a story. And today, Ms. Roosalina has planned something simple, but it's nutritious and delicious. And I think everyone's going to like it. Should we head on over to the snack kitchen? Today, we're going to have caramel apples. And these aren't the kind of caramel apples that you're thinking of for that are on a stick covered in caramel to eat. These are ones that we get to chomp in on and eat in little slices. We can dip them. Would you like to try them with us? All right, let's get to making them. Who's ready for some caramel apples?
Me!
All right, it sounds like we're ready. Today's snack is super simple. We have an apple and we have some caramel sauce. Now, the first thing I did was to warm up some of the caramel sauce in the microwave. I put a little bit into a dish and then we just warmed it up for maybe 30 seconds. You might want an adult to help you with this because you don't want to do it too much and burn yourself, because that wouldn't be good, right? Yeah, we don't want any burnt kids. Then you have to check with the grown-up if they're comfortable with you using a knife. And so then now we're going to take our apple and we're going to slice it up. Now that our apple's all cut up, it's time to eat. Who's ready to try some caramel apples?
Me!
All right, here we go. Dip. Oop. Get some. Dip. That is delicious. I bought Granny Smith apples, which are a little bit sour. And some people don't like them by themselves. But when you dip them in the caramel sauce, they are delicious. What do you think? Would you eat this again, y'all?
Yes.
Well, there you have it, friends. Now it's time to head on over with our snacks to the story couch. And I think Miss Roosalina may have picked out a great one today. Are you ready for a story today? Miss Roosalina has picked out a good one, an apple pie for dinner. Would you like an apple pie for dinner? That sounds pretty delicious to me. Let's dig into today's story. I think you're going to like it. An Apple Pie for Dinner by Susan Van Heck, illustrated by Carol Baker McKee. One day, old Granny Smith wanted an apple pie for dinner. She looked around her cozy kitchen. She had flour and butter. She had sugar and spices, but there was one thing she didn't have. She didn't have any apples. Granny Smith had plums, lots of plums, a tree full of purple plums, but you can't make an apple pie from plums. I might find someone who has apples but needs plums, Granny thought. So she filled a big basket with plums from her tree. Then she put on her bonnet, she pulled on her shawl, and she set off. Soon, Granny met some chickens and a goose in the road. Cluck, cluck, honk, honk, the noisy birds squawked. A young woman was feeding them. I have some plums, Granny said to the woman, but I need some apples. Do you have any apples? Oh, my family likes plum jam best, the woman said, but all I have are feathers. Will you take feathers for your plums? Yes, said kind old Granny, if plums will make your family happy, and she traded her purple plums for a bag of fluffy feathers. Thank you, said the woman. Granny smiled and continued on her way. Soon, Granny came to a beautiful garden where she heard a girl and a boy arguing. Cotton, yelled the girl. Straw, shouted the boy. May I help? Asked the Granny. Mama is making a pillow. I think cotton is the best stuffing. My brother thinks straw is best, said the girl. Feathers make the best stuffing, said Granny. They're softer than cotton and straw. Here. Granny reached into her basket. She gave the bag of fluffy feathers to the children. Thank you, they said. I'm looking for apples, Granny said. Do you have any? We don't have any apples, said the two children, but here are some sweet smelling flowers. Granny smiled and continued on her way. Soon, Granny met a young prince dressed in his finest clothes. He was going to see his lady love, but he looked so sad. May I help you? Asked Granny. I forgot the ring for my lady. It's too late to turn back, so I have no gift for her, said the prince. Here's a gift for her, said Granny. She handed the prince the sweet-smelling flowers. Thank you, he said. I'm looking for apples, said Granny. Do you have any? I don't have any apples, the prince said, but here's a gift for you. He gave Granny a gold coin from his pocket. Granny smiled and continued on her way. Soon she came to a yard where a mother and her children were crying. What's the matter? Granny asked. We're hungry, sobbed the mother. We have no money for food. Take this, said Granny. She gave the mother the gold coin. Use it to buy food. Thank you, the mother said. I'm looking for apples, Granny said. Do you know where I might find some? We don't have any apples, said the children, but we have pups that need good homes. Granny put a small brown dog in her basket. She smiled and she continued on her way. Soon, Granny came to a house where she saw an old man sitting on a bench. He looked unhappy. I'm lonely, he cried. You need a dog to keep you company, Granny said. She lifted the puppy from her basket. Woof, woof! The puppy ran to the man and jumped in his lap. Thank you, said the old man. I'm looking for apples, Granny said. Do you have any? Yes, said the old man. I grow them in my orchard. And he took her to the apple trees. Thank you, Granny said. She filled her basket with shiny apples. Granny smiled and set off for home. On her way, she invited everyone she'd met to follow her. In Granny's kitchen, they all worked together to bake a pie. They peeled and sliced apples. They added some spices. They rolled out the dough and filled the crust. Then Granny popped the pie in the oven. Soon the pie was done. The crust was golden brown. The juices bubbled. The warm smell of cinnamon filled the kitchen. Everyone sat down and yum, yum, what a delicious pie. Granny looked around the table and smiled. If you try and try, Granny said to herself, you can always have an apple pie for dinner. And together they ate the last crumb. What did you think of that story, friends? Did you enjoy it? Did you know that this is about learning to trade and borrow? Have you learned about trading and borrowing at school before? Maybe you've learned about money at school? I hear some friends saying yes. So sometimes we might not have money to be able to buy things. And that's when we have to get creative. We can't just take things. We have to have money for them, or perhaps we have some goods we can trade. Do you remember what Granny had to trade when she started off on her journey looking for apples? Did I hear someone say plums? Yes, remember, old Granny Smith had a tree full of plums, but plums don't make for a good apple pie, do they? No. So she needed to journey off and see if she could find some apples. And along her journey, different people had different things to trade. And if you have the right thing that meets the need that somebody else has, then you can trade. I wonder what you could trade if you had something you needed. Perhaps sometimes it can be time or a service. I have neighbors who like to cut grass, and so they like to cut grass in exchange for money, but it could be I had something that they really wanted. Perhaps I had a really cool toy that they were willing to cut my grass in exchange for the cool toy. Well, I don't really have toys, but maybe my kids. So sometimes there can be things that you could do. And I loved that old Granny Smith was able to help the brother and sister who were looking for stuffing for the pillow. She had the best thing to trade for them to help them fit their need. So sometimes we can learn about trading in exchange for goods instead of using money. Now remember, old Granny Smith did get some money during her journey. She got the gold coin and she traded that for the puppy. And then that puppy was able to give the old man some joy so he wouldn't be so lonely. And fortunately, he had apples. What I also like about old Granny Smith is her kindness. She met all of these people along the way and she invited them back to share the apple pie. And that was quite kind and generous of her. So I wonder if there are things you could do to be kind and generous to people in your community. I hope you enjoyed this book today. I know that I enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed this time with you. I hope you'll come back next week and join us for another after school snack time right here on Wednesday for another week of fun. We'll have something nutritious and delicious, and we'll read a great story. We can't wait to see you next time, friends. Take care. Bye.